Hello, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to Ladies Connect with Sola Akintayo. This is to inspire you. Live a value-added life, enhancing your career, relationships, and your goals in life. Welcome to today's episode. On today's episode, I will be discussing ways to reduce stress. Ways to reduce stress. First and foremost, I'd like to let us know what stress is. Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Stress doesn't come as a gift, and so it is important you and I know the major causes of stress. One of major causes of stress is career concern. For the people that are career personnel, most times when you have issues with your career, maybe in your place of work, you've not been able to meet the set target or the set goal, or peradventure you've gotten more than enough query already and you just don't know how to handle it. What comes up next is stress. Before you know it, you get stressed up. And another major cause of stress is lack of social support. Lack of social support. Oftentimes, you and I need support from people because no one can stay alone. No one can stay alone. No one can live alone. No one can do things alone. You can't be a lone ranger. So you need support from people. And times when we don't get such support, most especially from our loved ones or people that we have put our hope in to give us this support, eventually we get stressed up. Another major cause of stress is interpersonal and intergroup conflict. Interpersonal and intergroup conflict. This is how it goes. For interpersonal and intergroup conflict, it does happen amongst friends or in the family. When there are issues, there are quarreling issues, there are cases where one person is fighting the other and this one is spitting on this one's face. Whoever is not enjoying it, we get stressed up. Even who is giving the problem to gets stressed up. It's not easy to shout and shout and shout and not get stressed. Do we understand? All right. And another major cause of stress is work overload. It is good to be hardworking. It is good to be intentional in your place of work with your work so that you can get your goals achieved and attained. But the truth is, when your work is too much, when what you need to do, when you are being overloaded with work, you will be stressed because you are using energy and your work is consuming energy from you. So it's likely you get stressed. When you're noticing any of these things, make sure you put things in place, re-strategize, replan yourself and put things in place, and you see that you are not stressed eventually. And the last one I like to talk about is occupational demand. Occupational demand. You know, sometimes, and with the nature of what you need to do every day, we get stressed up with the kind of whatever it is that we do, be it business, be it the office setting, whatever it is that you do, be it ministry. Sometimes when the demand is so high, you get stressed up. When demand is so high for you to meet up with the quality or with the set goal that you have put for yourself, you put in place, we get stressed up. So when you see that the demand of your occupation is quite high from your ability, from your capacity, just make sure that you take out time to enlarge your capacity. When you enlarge your capacity will be able to merge or meet up with the demand of the kind of work that you do. Then you'll be able to get over stress. All right. When we are stressed, it does not just affect the work in question. It does affect several other things. It affects our lives. And quickly, I'd like to mention the things that get affected when we are stressed. Number one, when we are stressed, it affects our body. How does it affect your body? You begin to feel this headache. You begin to have frequent body aches. Sometimes you begin to treat infections regularly. Sometimes stress produces all of this. And another thing stress affects about us is our mind. Stress affects our mind. Stress affects our mind. Because when we are stressed in our mind, you begin to get worried. You worry about everything. You worry about what you eat, what you drink, who is your friend, who is not your friend, who likes you, who doesn't like you. You just keep worrying and worrying, and you are so worried that you worry about worry itself. That's a sign of stress. And sometimes too, stress makes us think negatively all the time. When we are stressed, we think of negative things. We get negative minded instead of us to be positive minded. So if you have been experiencing any of these things I've mentioned, please do a check on yourself and make sure that you do what is necessary. All right. Another thing stress affects in us is our emotions. Stress affects our emotions. We begin to begin to lose confidence in ourselves. We begin to lose confidence in our ability. We begin to get so irritated easily. We begin to get, before you know it, it leads to depression. When we are affected emotionally, it is stress that has affected emotions that leads to depression. When you're stressed in your emotions, it can lead to depression. And the last thing I like to talk about that stress affects is our behavior. Oftentimes when we are stressed or we are stressed up, it does affect our behavior. Yeah, sometimes we have loss of appetite. You just don't feel like eating. Maybe you are the type, you are a lover of food. Right from time you had always loved food, and when you are stressed, you lose your appetite. You don't want to eat. You don't even know what to eat. And when we are stressed in our behavior, it does affect us, it gets us restless. We become very restless. You can't sleep at night. You can't have a nap during the day. It just gets us restless. It gets us restless. All right. And the last thing I like to talk about on ways to reduce stress. This works. I bet you it works. Learn to trust God. Just learn to put your trust in God. I know there are so many issues. I know there are challenges. I know you have so much targets to meet. I know you have so much bills to pay. But please, dear sisters, learn to trust God. Learn to trust God. Learn to trust God. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says that there is time for everything, and there is a season for every activity under the heaven. So learn to trust God. Learn to trust God. If you learn to trust God, I tell you, He's in charge. He's always in charge. Even when you're not trusting Him, He's in charge. So just put your trust in Him. Help Him and trust Him to handle everything for you. Trust Him to give you knowledge. Trust Him to give you divine understanding. Trust Him to help you put things in place. And that is exactly what you will enjoy.